everything I do is just fun. I just go and try to have the most fun I can, and it seems to be working out.
Today on That Car Show, it's our pal Phil Morris. Phil's an LA-based automotive enthusiast with both a 911 and a V10 R8 in the garage, and he's a familiar face each Friday morning at Newcomb's Ranch for good vibes. He's a familiar face, too, from film and television, and he, of course, played the iconic Jackie Chiles on Seinfeld. He shares what it was like growing up as the son of a famous Hollywood actor and forging his own fame in TV and movies. This one's real and it's spectacular. It's Phil Morris, and it's That Car Show.
Welcome to this week's episode of That Car Show. I'm Lindsay, and I'm here with Ryan. And we have a guest that we are so excited to share with everybody this week. My good friend Phil Morris, and he's a friend of the show. We've all had the chance to hang out together in person, which is not always the case with Instagram, and we're all scattered around. Phil's in Southern California. I'm usually in Seattle. Ryan's in Colorado. But we have actually all met in person at the Peterson at a Ferrari event a few years ago. And now we're making it happen virtually, getting together on the podcast. So Phil and I first connected on Instagram through Good Vibes. Good Vibes Breakfast Club, which was founded by all of our friends, Jay and Nicole Ryan, up at Newcomb's Ranch in LA. And then there was one Friday morning a little bit after that where we were both there up at Newcomb's for Good Vibes on Friday morning. And my dog happened to jump on Phil's leg to say hello. And we realized that we were connected on Instagram, but then we actually got to say hi in person. And, it's always fun to put a face to the Instagram handle. And we've been friends ever since. We know Phil for his ready smile, his sense of humor, how genuine and present he is when you are with him. But he has a prolific career as an actor and a voice actor. And many of our listeners will probably know him for his portrayal of arguably one of the most iconic characters on TV, Jackie Chiles on Seinfeld, who is such a favorite. In addition to Seinfeld, Phil has been on The Young and the Restless, and he actually acted in the new Mission Impossible, playing his father's character's son. His father, of course, was Greg Morris, who was on the original Mission Impossible TV show in the 60s and I think maybe early 70s. And so suffice it to say, Phil has lived an incredibly unique life. And he's a true car enthusiast and a pretty good driver, if he does say so himself. So we're so excited.
Just ask me. Yeah.
Just ask him, right? So we are so excited to have you with us tonight and hear some of your stories. Welcome to the show, Phil.
Well, thank you. What a humbling introduction. I really appreciate that. Gosh, I can't wait to hear what I have to say.
Right? You sound like a great guy.
This has been a long. Yeah, I can't wait to meet me. This has been a long time in coming, but we've met over a shared passion, which is really terrific. And you mentioned something, Lindsay, that is really very, very common, and that a lot of us in the car world know each other from our handles. And
right.
It was great to put a face with that, and with Ryan as well. And the Peterson was a great event. I mean, I'm a huge car fan, but I'm a huge Ferrari fan. And to meet you guys over that was terrific. So
it was definitely, thank you for joining us. I mean, that was such a great way to kick off, like, sort of your relationship to our show. And we got to meet, your lovely wife, Carla, who's just so effervescent and just really added to the whole morning. I know we all had a great time together, and just, you're a true family man and car enthusiast. And we're so happy to have you with us.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so I know I've gotten to hang out with you at multiple car events. One of them, my dad was with us, and you were telling us some really interesting stories because you grew up, obviously, as the son of a working actor. And so we wanted to hear sort of, how did you get into cars? But also, can you share, because you had said there were some unique experiences that your family got to have growing up.
Yeah.
Who your dad
I mean,
was.
just
So
being in that celebrity world, just get to it. There's access that just, I guess, regular folk don't have, or people who aren't in that world, they just don't have that access. It's like full on VIP behind the curtain stuff. And my dad became famous in 1966. Mission Impossible started in 66. I was 7. So I was very young. So a lot of the things that we did, which were amazing, I I'm not sure if they're real memories or if I kind of highlighted them because you little kids, they tend to embellish their memories. So I actually went back, and people would say to me, ask this question, why are you so into cars? My dad used to be the Grand Marshal and VIP at many of the California races. California
Right.
500, the Riverside 500, the Long Beach Grand Prix. So we went to all of those races, and of course, I was enamored. We were in the pits. We made it like everybody. So because those memories were so vivid and the people were so illustrious, I went back and looked at who was at the 1972, 1971 Riverside Grand Prix, California 500. So I think it was the Riverside 500, I believe. There were two races that went on that day. One was a Formula One race. One was a Formula 3000 race, both won by Mario Andretti. AJ Foyt was second in the Formula 3000 race. The flag man was Paul Newman. The special guests were Greg Morris, Steve McQueen, Muhammad Ali.
Oh, wow.
The Supremes sang the national anthem.
I mean,
that was
you can't write that.
I'm just here to tell you, even I was like taken aback by how deep that dive was. And I remember being on the roof of the Long Beach Grand Prix and talking with Paul Newman about the race. I remember seeing Muhammad Ali and meeting him, and he was a huge fan of my dad. At the time, they were just, they were gargantuan figures in sports and entertainment. So to have that access, to be in the pits, to smell the smells, to do the thing, it hooked me. It hooked me. So I've been an exotic car lover primarily ever since.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Not a bad story.
I mean,
No.
Yeah, that sucks.
Did you know how special it was then?
Always. I always did. We were always very grateful.
It's important. Yeah.
And when we got a little bit too big for our britches, we thought we were too much, our parents were right there to go, hey, look, I just come from Ohio. Your mom's from West Virginia. This is special stuff, so.
Right,
so
like this isn't normal.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it here in my house. I have Wheaties boxes, and there's Snoopy, and there's thing. I mean, my whole life is like magical. It's just I have Le Mans, Ferrari, Lefka Cult. I've got comic books everywhere. I mean, it's this world, this life I've lived has been so full and fantastic, and I just keep going. I lean right into it.
I mean, you got to grab on with both hands, right? If that's
I think
those
so.
are the experiences that people are including you in, you'd be crazy not to say yes. I'm not going to lie. I did not expect a Supremes mention that early in the show. I mean,
it's almost unbelievable, Phil.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
how far we've fallen as a people, right?
Yeah, really. It's
incredible.
Taking up a career now.
So,
and then on it goes. Even go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, no. So, how old were you when you were chatting with Paul Newman? I mean, that just blows me away.
8, 9, 10. So the show was on for 7 years, from 66 to 73. I went from 7 to 14. Very formative years.
Right.
Every year there was something amazing. It was a special golf tournament or a special, the Philip Morris Company sponsored the show the first 2 years. And as a kid, I thought
all the merch.
Well, I just thought I owned the show. It was, you know what I mean? You're a kid. What do you know? It's called Philip Morris, and he's
right.
Yeah.
Like,
why
this is
am I
me.
not getting? Yes, it's just it's kind of neat. It's kind of neat. Yeah.
I mean, I'll say that's And so, did your whole family go? Because you have 2 sisters, correct?
All of us went.
You
We
would all
all went.
go.
We all loved it. Yeah. We were a big kind of amoeba that would go from one event to another. We'd go to the Emmy events, the Emmy Award events. We'd go. My parents took us everywhere. We were really well-behaved kids. We really appreciated it. We were enamored with the whole world as well, so it was exciting. Each one of us, my sisters and I, would have like a day, a month that we would be able to go and get out of school and go to the studio and watch our dad film. So we each had a day that we went with him, and then we spent the whole day at the studio. And, man, it was just like crazy because the Brady Bunch was shooting then, the Odd Couple was shooting then, Bonanza was shooting. I mean, it was pretty special. So I guess that's, it's no mystery why I do what I do.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, you've met my dad, and right before we were recording, I said, hey, do you have any questions for Phil? And I think I told you after we met you and we had all gone home from the event, all of a sudden it hit him and he went, oh my gosh, Greg Morris. Wait, hold on. And he looked at my mom. He said, you're not going to believe this. I met Greg Morris's son. This is unbelievable. So tonight I said, do you have any questions for Phil? And he said, yeah, I would love to hear. And you've talked about it a little bit now. You grew up with your dad doing what he did. And so can you talk about like how you were exposed to, obviously he got up and went to work. What was that like being exposed to that? And what made you want to follow in his footsteps career-wise?
Well, I for a long time I didn't. I was the only boy, and I was so young. You're trying to figure out who you are and find your own identity. And every time somebody said, little Greg to me, I'd go, no, it's Phil. I would definitely push back. I am a pretty strong personality, always have been, and I wanted to find my way myself. And so for a long time, I was just an actor, an athlete, and a dude. And then I got into automotive design early.
Really?
Yeah, and I went to Art Center for about 6 months, studying automotive design. Yeah, I wanted to from the inside out, and I had kind of an idea to go to kind of the Fisher body plant and work there as a design. Honestly, that's what I wanted to do. And my grades weren't good enough. My art was good, but my math sucked. And the cars have to run, and they have to be
feels like
functional.
Nitpicking, I'll be honest.
Unless you're a Swedish car manufacturer. I don't know. Bad. Oh, sorry. Bad.
Oh, Phil woke up and chose violence today.
I know, exactly. I'm so sorry, Phil.
Way to beat them while they're down.
Oh, God, they're losing them right, left, and center. But yeah, I really wanted to be that guy. And then my dad took me on location one summer, and it was a movie that had some pretty amazing people. Again, I'm going to tell you these stories. You guys are like, really, Phil? So my dad was doing this movie with Billy D. Williams and Henry Fonda and Chad Everett and Merle Haggard and Buck Henry, and I mean, just crazy. And it was an Army picture. I'm 17 years old, playing Army, running around, acting like a fool. And my dad had an accident on the movie, and they came to me and they told me they didn't know if he was going to be able to finish it, and they wanted me to take over the role. I wasn't an actor. I mean, I had a pretty expanded PA role, wrangling up these extras from Bakersfield, but they felt like my energy was leadership material, and my dad was playing a leader, and maybe I could swing it. Long story short, he got better, but that got me into acting, for real. And I came back to LA and I started studying, and I've been doing this ever since.
That's incredible. I love it.
What was in your garage growing up? I'm just curious.
My dad had a 280 SE 3.5. He was really into that classic. It was like his dream car.
Yeah.
He and Peter Graves, who was the white-haired guy on Mission Impossible, were the first celebrity voices of cars in the States. Like my dad and he were the Mercedes-Benz voices. And then my dad was the Chrysler voice for years. So there were a lot of Mercedes-Benzes, a lot of 450 SELs, and my first real car, like my own car, was a Chrysler Cordoba.
Oh, wow.
Just horrible. So I know horrible cars. So I'm sorry, Sweden. I know horrible. I just know. Don't be mad at me.
Because I love you, because I'm one of
that
you.
reality. I bleed for you. At any rate, it's going to be a running joke. I'm telling you. That was my introduction. But cars have been around my whole life.
Yeah.
Well, and you have had quite a collection over the years, and I know we've talked about it. You said I'm not selling any anymore. Like if I get them, they're sticking with me, because I mean we've all felt the pain of like, oh, the one that you had to sell or the one that got away. And so when you get to the point where you can alleviate that pain or start to,
We are addicts, yes.
Yeah.
Addicts.
But so can you share like some of the cars that you've had over the years? Because,
it's cool. And it's because you know what? I was bad with cars. As a kid, I was terrible. I didn't want to spend money on the cars. I wanted to spend money on my girlfriend, spend money on other stuff. I didn't see the benefit. I was not good. And so I got the cars that I deserved. I literally had a Pinto, I had a Vega, I had like bad cars, which in hindsight, it was perfect, because now I am so responsible. I am so grateful. I'm so thankful to have the vehicles that I have. And I'm so, I'm prideful that I take such good care of them now, because I was such a irresponsible lout before.
Well, if you start with something like a Pinto, you do appreciate, you can only go up, right?
Kind of. My personalized license plate was IIN 10 2. And people would say, Phil, are you going to get another car? I go, look at my license plate. I intend to.
It's right there.
I intend
That's
to.
great.
Yeah, it was. I was manifesting even then. My first real kind of car was a 1982 911 SC.
Oh,
Wonderful root beer brown, which I put Gotti wheels on, 3 wheels.
perfect.
Such a baller. Tinted the windows brown tint. I mean, it was cool. It was cool.
That's a
You know,
commitment. Like, we are going full
yeah,
blown.
I was there. I
All
was there.
root
What can
beer,
Brown
all
do
the
for
way.
you? Everything. Everything. It was a pretty cool looking car. I really liked that car. And then I got an 88 Carrera,
Okay.
which was perfect. Like, that's just a perfect sports car. And then I got a 1995 993 Carrera S. And then I got a 2004 GT3.
Oh,
And
well, hello.
now I have a, I do, 2012 9911 Carrera S I have, and then an R8 Audi 2018 rear wheel series. So those are,
And that one is,
and I only have the R8 and the 911 now. Everything else is like
Okay.
bye-bye.
Okay.
that's all. Yeah, I know. Well, I saw a black R8 the other day and I thought of you because, and this one, it was black like yours, but this one happened to have ski racks on the rear window.
You should. Did you send me
I
that? Did you
texted
send me
it
that
to you
picture?
because I'm
I
like,
think you
hey,
did.
just in case you ever want to take the R8 skiing, you can.
Yeah. What an
It was
option.
insane. I could see this thing coming from behind me and I was like, what's sticking up over the top? And then it passed us and I went, oh, of course, ski racks, obviously.
Yes. Yes. What an option. I love
I
You
that.
know,
know.
Lindsay, you can do that in 911 as well, technically speaking.
I've
But,
seen
You
it.
know what's
I've
funny?
seen
I
it many
think
times.
this one, I've seen that a lot and I think it looks great on a 911. This was, I mean, and maybe there's a reason they didn't put it on the roof on this R8, but it was on the back window. And so it was an odd, it was just an odd proposition. And it stuck up over, like if you were looking at the car from the front, you saw part of one of them. It just,
Right.
it was a conversation piece, clearly.
Yeah. The
Well,
ski
they
jumper fell off. You know?
Exactly, in mid-flight. They probably put it on the rear because the top of an R8 is very fragile. You know, they don't have sunroofs, and so the construction on the roof is not very durable. So maybe there is more support in that area.
That
to
would
put
make
the-
sense.
those- yeah, weird though. I wouldn't do it.
No.
So Phil, why Porsche? I mean, it's. I feel like it's something that we all kind of end up going to. But what was your story with Porsche? Why Porsche?
It was easier than a Ferrari to get into.
Yeah,
Number one.
yeah.
Ferraris are my first love, and that's just
They were,
my
okay.
real love. My favorite car in the whole world is a 365 GTV4 Daytona. In the whole world. I used to work at a place called the Beverly Hills Car Company, and I was the wash delivery boy.
Really?
16, 17 years old. So I would drive, you name it. We drove everything, V12, Jags, everything to deliver to the Valley, to this. I mean, I drove them everywhere, and I washed all of them. So whenever there was a Daytona that came in, just the sound of it, the styling of it, it was so sleek and sexy. And then I saw a movie called Gumball Rally. And it was a big time star in that movie. And I've been wanting one ever since. So Ferraris have always been on my radar. And I kind of love the mythos of Enzo Ferrari and the whole, Italian craziness. But they're hard to get into now, especially. They're very expensive.
Yeah.
And I found that Porsches were better engineered, quite honestly, as a sports car for what I wanted them for, which was to drive them. I'm a driver. My cars, they're not garage queens. I put them on the highway. So Porsches are more durable. They're a little bit more fun to drive, seat of the pants wise, and that you get a real feedback from them that you just don't get from the Ferraris. Not in my estimation, anyway. Not in the older ones. The newer ones, maybe. I haven't driven a lot of the real new ones.
I feel like we could fix that. We probably know.
Can we?
I feel
Yeah,
like
could we?
know
I would
people.
love that.
Yeah.
And the
I know.
design of Porsche is perfect. It's a perfect car to me.
Yeah.
So is that, you
You're a big-
mentioned, you wanted to be a designer, car designer, and that's something that you and I've talked about up at Newcomb's. I think Byron showed up in a new Porsche at one point and I went, oh, I love it. And you're like, well, no, but here's the design elements. This is where they,
Mhm.
and it was fascinating. So do you find, you obviously didn't do that as a career, but is that something that's sort of a thread through your daily life?
Oh yeah, I think I'm an aesthetic person, and I like the visual of things and how they're put together. I think I like cars because of the man machine element, how man and machine come together. And I mean, and that's why I love racing. It's another element of the man and the machine come together. How do you channel these forces and make them do your bidding? I'm a race, you know what I mean? As a
Yeah,
race driver, I'm not talking about on the street, of course. I'm talking about on a track.
right.
And I'm a skip graduate, so that I'm enamored with the philosophy and the ability of a driver to put a car on the limit, the absolute limit. And that takes a marriage of man and machine and engineering and sentient being. And that's pretty
Yeah.
interesting to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, when you think about it, like one can't do that without the other on either
Right.
side. So
Right.
how did you get into like high performance and track driving?
I was first exposed to racing, like I said, at a young age. I was exposed to the highest levels of racing at a very young age. And the people that I was, come on, man. My dad was friends with Gene Hackman and Clint Eastwood, and they were both gentlemen, celebrity racers. And
Yeah.
Right.
he was a good friend of Mike Connors, who played Mannix on the
Oh,
old
sure.
Mannix.
Yeah.
He was a big sports car guy. So, I mean, there were always exotics around. There were always
Yeah.
Ferraris and Rolls Royces and Mercedes Benzes and some Astons and Jags around. So I was always enamored with those stylings as well. I mean, they're exotics. They're called exotics for a reason.
Yeah.
It's not just
Yeah.
because of how they drive, it's because of how they look, how they make us feel,
Yeah. All right. So we
Mhm.
know you like Porsches and you like Ferraris. Is there anything that you just can't stand, like a car you see and just recoil?
Did
You
someone
know,
say
you
Swedish?
know. Did we say no? Those are cool. I actually love them. It's just a joke. Tesla trucks, number one,
Yeah.
number
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
on the hate
Yeah.
parade.
Yep.
Number one
Yeah.
on the hate parade. And that's yeah. Wow. What was the other one I didn't like? It's a Honda. It looks like a modular thing. It's not great.
It's
Maybe
like
the
different.
Element.
Yeah,
Different.
that's it.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
element. Yeah, boom.
That's a love it or
Brilliant.
hate it
Nailed it.
proposition.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. See, that's why I'm on the show with
Yeah.
you guys.
Exactly. Yeah.
What else did I not like? There's not, here's the thing. Like you go up to Newcomb, so you go any really good car show.
Yeah.
I might not like that car. Like if I'm not into that car, unless the truck, probably not going to talk to you about that. But if you're into it,
Yeah.
I'm into you. I'm
Yeah.
into you
Yeah.
because you're so into what you like. Even though I may not buy it, it may not be something that would be
Sure.
in my garage.
Right.
I just love the energy that we come with when it comes to our favorite steed. And so I'm all ears. I'm your audience, baby. Talk to me about the M3 or the
Yeah.
B4 or whatever it is you got that you're into.
And vintage Corolla that you've brought up the mountain.
Yeah, the vintage. Yeah. Oh well. Who did that? That wasn't me.
I want to
No.
hear about this.
No, I didn't bring a vintage Corolla.
Oh,
No, I think somebody did at one point. It wasn't a day that I was there, but there was a picture of it. And I was like you said, and I think we talk about that on the show too, is like, I think that's one of the most interesting things about the car world is that there's an
Yeah.
enthusiast for every model, which is so fascinating when it's not
Yeah.
your thing. And you're like, okay, so this is the car that has grabbed you and just taken hold. And you're like, I'm all in. So like you said, you're like, okay, tell me your story. How is this the one that grabbed your heart when it's not something that one of us has connected with individually? I think that's what keeps it so fascinating. And you mentioned,
Truly.
I mean, the mix of cars that go to Good Vibes is always interesting. It's so
Yeah,
eclectic.
it's a Porsche centric world in California. Admittedly, it's a very
Right.
adaptable car for our climate and how we drive and our roads and so forth. So there's a lot of Porsches, a lot of 911s that show up there, but there's a lot of everything. Vets and BMWs and Astons and McLarens and Civics and
Yeah.
Toyotas and Fiats, and it's a come on up, man.
Well, and there's a
What you got?
Subaru, I think there's an Outback wagon that's like it wasn't one that came to the US, maybe. I mean, there's all these
Yeah.
really unique
Yeah.
and like
My buddy
Paul
Dom is a
Stereo.
300 SD. There's this badass 300 diesel he calls blue. It's that, but that's it, right, Lindsay?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah.
It's our love for these things. We give them life.
Yeah. Well, and you
Phil,
never
how
know
did
what
that
you're going
all?
to see.
Phil, how'd that all start for you? The whole good vibes thing, and
That's great.
it's
Yeah, that's great. No,
yeah,
Ryan, you did good. It's a good story. It's a good question. I had bought this R8, right?
yeah,
And I was looking for a community.
yeah,
Okay. I'm not a club guy. I'm not a joiner of things. But I was looking for people who were into exotic cars and I could
yeah.
drive somewhere and it was cool. So I go online and on Instagram and a buddy of mine, Bentley Kyle Evans, who's a producer I've worked with on Martin
Mm.
and many other shows, Jamie Foxx show. He's a great producer. I love the guy. He is showing a picture of him and his drop top 911 leaving Good Vibes. And he goes, everybody knows on a good nice day, I like to drop the top on my 911 and drive and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, where is that?
Yeah.
And he told me, and I said, I will meet you Friday. I went that Friday and they were go, well, yeah, well, where are you driving? I said, oh, don't you worry about it. I'll bring in some. I'll bring it.
I got that.
And I showed up. I got that. Don't worry about it. Don't you worry about it. And I showed up in the R8 and we drove up and I love that road. So, I mean, I ripped that road from day one, loved every inch of it, got up to Good Vibes. And you guys have been, you go around the turn and you come on this like tree lined
Yeah.
shadows. It's like you're in Idlewild. You're like, I'm doing the Sound of Music's happening. And I go and this entire phalanx of 150 cars, super cool. I'm like, I have found my people.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I've been going ever since.
Angels singing, birds flying, butterflies.
Things were sweeter, smells were beautiful. I mean, I
Skies
met Jay and
bluer.
Nicole.
I mean,
Yeah, it's a little bit. Met Jay and Nicole, and kind of the beauty of my journey is that I forget that I'm kind of the dude I am on TV. So, and that's great because then I can walk places and people, hey, and I'm like, do I know you from high school? Do we know somebody from college? I don't put it together. But then we meet somewhere else.
Yeah.
So there's so many people up there, car journalists that I really admire, and they admire my work, and so it's like all love.
Right.
And it's really, really refreshing. We talk cars. We don't talk about the business. It's just nice.
It's become bigger than LA. I live out here.
It's international.
Yeah. Like you go to LA, you make a pilgrimage, to Good Vibes. It's right up there with the Peterson or, anything else. It's
Right.
really something magical.
Depending on the weekend, it can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. If it's Lufka Cult and they're in town,
Yeah.
or people, but a week before Monterey week or,
Yeah.
man.
Well, and like you said,
I-
it's become like a pilgrimage. I know, what is it, Air Water? I think Haggerty has coordinated a cruise from the Garage and Social in Van Nuys up to Good Vibes, and then they go to, Air Water the next day. And so and like, how many times does Matt Ferris say people reach out to him and they go, okay, where do I need to go in LA? I'm obviously going to the Peterson. I'm obviously going to Good Vibes. What are the other places?
Yeah.
Like, it's a standard hub if you're in the car community. And I think you hit on a really important point, and we talk about this a lot of like, I think one of the most beautiful things about the car community is it's the great equalizer, because we're so focused on this, hobby, and some might even say sickness, that we are so obsessed with these cars that it does, like, even when you and I first met, I didn't realize immediately that you were Jackie Chiles, who I obviously knew the character. I put it together later, but I think that's the best part is we're all just people.
Right. That's the best point. Ryan, you want to say about something about that?
No, I had that same experience when I met you at the Peterson and your lovely wife, Carla. We got along, got on famously. And then I had that moment where I said, damn, where do I know you from? And and then, I mean, I think this must be a regular occurrence for you, but, car enthusiasts, we just all kind of get along, right? I mean, that's just,
I think so. We speak the same language. Yeah, we speak the same language. And I think we're looking for more community, honestly. And this is an easy in. Whenever I'm up there and I do a post from up there, I'm like, it doesn't matter what you drive. If you're cool, come. People, they ask me all the time because they see the sticker on my car. They're like, well, what time does it start? I said, whenever you get there. Yeah. What do I drive? Whatever you got. Uber if you want. It's not really about that, because when you get there, it has its own charm. It has its own energy. It has its own vibe. And as long as you bring a good vibe, I think you come away with one. And that's been my experience 100% of the time. I've had so many wonderful experiences. There's so many people who do come up there and it's a destination spot. I know NFL players who fly their cars in,
right,
drive them up the mountain for the day, drive them back to the airport, and fly them home.
I love that.
You know, they're NFL players, so they're multimillionaires, but that's their vibe. That's their jam.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the guy who owns.
It's going to be good.
Alpina. Alpina.
Really?
The owner of Alpina came up. Oh yeah, that's good. And he came over to me and he's like, I've seen your posts and And we came from New York. We were in New York yesterday. We're in California today. We're in California because we're here at Newcomb's, he says, because this is the quintessential California car culture. And we want to talk to you. We want to know what it's all about and what you guys are interested in and blah, 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 blah. And I said, you got to meet Jay. So I immediately took the owner of Alpina and his guy over to meet Jay. And I was like, Jay, this is so-and-so from Alpina. This is Jay, Ryan, and Nicole, blah, blah, blah. And then I let him talk. And I come back and Jay's like, why'd you stick me with those guys? I'm like, wait, Jay, no. That was the owner of Alpina from Germany. He goes, oh, I just thought he was some German dude. I didn't know. But that's
like that as well.
Newcomb's, yes, that as well. But that's the thing, you know, you don't think nobody don't care who you are. You didn't care who he was. Just, are you a good person? Are you cool?
Yeah.
Well, it's become such a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Lindsay. It's become such a thing that it's become parodied by friends like Angela's Death Highway, who was on the show a couple of weeks ago. Have you been lucky enough to have been featured in one of in his body of work, Phil? Or,
no, I have not. I have been on other things like Oster King or some other guy, and he's like, let's see if we can catch up with the R8, and he's driving some M3, and his followers are all like, oh, you're gonna smoke him, and I just disappear into the distance.
Yeah.
And then he hits me up and he goes, it was very difficult. You were very hard to keep up with. I said, thank you. It's quite the honor.
Right.
But I only have good involvement with people like that.
Yeah.
And the ones that I like, I watch, and the ones that I don't, just stay away from.
Yeah.
Easy as pie.
Change the channel.
Exactly. That's the beauty of it. Well, so you mentioned Martin, and
yes,
you said, as you said, you started acting when you were 17, and you've had the unique distinction to be a working actor all of that time, which is pretty incredible. But can you share just some of the projects that you've worked on?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I started right in the middle of all the good stuff. The TV was really cool back then. I literally guested on a 2-part Webster episode with Ben Vereen. Yeah.
Cliffhanger.
It was crazy. It was crazy. It was like, he played Webster's uncle who's trying to get into the business. I play a studio executive at Paramount, and he comes to my office to get a job. I don't even know how old I was. I might have been 27, 26, 25. And here I am playing opposite Ben Vereen, and just having a great time in a comedy. And it just went on from there for me. I'm going to mention shows that nobody knows except maybe you guys. Heart to Heart was with
I was Robert a loyal Wagner. Viewer of Heart to Heart, right? Great car show, really.
A really good car show.
Yeah.
And it was an episode with Tippi Hedren. Oh, wow. And they used her actual has a wildlife preserve.
Right.
And so they used her actual animals on it, and I played her assistant with David McCallum, who was Ilya Kuryakin in a show called The Man from U.N.C.L.E. I'm gonna go deep here for you people.
Wow.
And they killed me in the show. And
did they kill you with the animals?
No, it's awesome. They stick a spear in me and they put me in a boat, and I'm floating down the river in the boat, and that's how The Heart See Me is so good. I did Murder, She Wrote with Angela.
You did?
Oh, yeah. I got some cool stories. Yeah.
That's amazing.
David
the memoirs are going to be amazing.
Wasn't David McCallum, wasn't he on NCIS with Mark?
Yeah.
Okay, he was Ducky. Okay.
He was the doctor or the
they called him Ducky. Yeah. Okay.
That's exactly right. That's David McCallum.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
And
score one
Ian
for me.
Bannon was in this.
Please continue.
It's just back then in TV, stars were guest stars on television shows. I mean, they pulled them for the major shows, and I did them. My dad did a show called Vegas with Robert Urich. It was a short-lived show. I went on that show and guested on that show as a basketball player who was shaving points. I mean,
Really?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I've had some pretty fun, interesting. I did Diagnosis Murder with Dick Van Dyke.
No kidding.
Yeah, 2 episodes of that, as a matter of fact, where I was the killer, and it was with Barbara Bain, and I mean, just so many fabulous experiences that I've had doing the new Mission Impossible with Peter Graves, who was my Uncle Peter. I grew up with him and his kids, and then we were working together in Australia together on the show that he and my father made famous. So
That's
it's
incredible. So talk about
magical.
you played your father's character's son. Like your character was his character's son. What was that like?
Mission Impossible, my version was born of a writer's strike at the time. So no one could write anything. And the studio executives, who still needed to kind of create projects, felt that Mission Impossible could be done again, not change a word, and be just as modern. So in fact, when I got the job, I got my father's character's job. I was Barney Collier, which was my father's character in Mission Impossible. I got cast as Barney Collier. And then before we left for Australia, the writer's strike ended. And so then they made me Grant Collier, the son of. And yeah, it was surreal. It was beyond surreal. And then we shot in Australia, which was pretty crazy because I'd never been there. So to go there like full stop for 8 months at a time was pretty wild. And then my dad came down and guested on a few episodes. So that again was surreal.
Oh, cool.
Because here he's coming to my show to play his character.
Right.
My heart starts pumping and beating just thinking about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, so what was it like acting with you? Because obviously you said you got to go to set with him.
It was tough.
Did.
It was tough. I mean, it was tough. I mean, we could play it two ways. I could play it the Hollywood way and go, "Oh, it was so terrific. My dad was so great. And to do that was so amazing." Or I can tell you the truth, which was my father was in a bad shape physically. He just wasn't in good shape. So I wasn't that excited to have him come down because I knew he wasn't in good shape. The producers did not.
You knew
So
the story.
Yeah, I knew the real story. So I didn't know what version of him we were going to get. And this just being, I mean, let's talk real stuff here.
Right. We're here for the truth.
It all worked out. It was wonderful, but it was daunting. And then we're playing a scene where at the end of the second episode, because he did a 2-parter for us, he dies in my arms. So we're playing a scene where he literally dies in my arms. And that didn't necessarily happen in real life, but it was pretty close. So, what do I want to say about this? This journey has been unbelievably fruitful and incredibly eye-opening as a life experience for me. And it couldn't have happened any other way. And I love every minute of it. And I look forward to every moment more. Honest with you.
I mean, I think if we can say that, we're all way ahead of the game, right?
Yeah. That's the dream, right? That's
right.
The dream.
That's what we're doing here.
How has the business changed in recent years? I hear from people and, it seems to, is it tougher than ever to be a working actor?
I think so. I mean, it's
changed.
It's both. I mean, there's streaming, so a lot more content that's needed. There's a lot more streaming services than there were networks. Yeah. So that's changed. It's changed the pay scale quite a bit because you kind of distill the pie a bit. But because I've been around for so long, I've seen my father go through what he's gone through. Right. There's always change. It's ever changing. It's never not. It's fluid. It's fluid as all get out. It's what entertainment is. When it doesn't change, it's no longer interesting, and so it's no longer entertaining. So it has to change. And we've seen it. I've seen it go from straight TV where you had to be there every night. You couldn't tape it. You had to watch a rerun in the summertime when reruns went, and then there was this incredible thing called videotape, which blew everybody's mind. And now you could record things, you could watch them later. Then there was the VHS, and then there was the DVD, and then there was, you know what I mean? Yeah. So right the way along, this thing has changed and morphed, and I have just been right there for it. And I think I did a seminar called Phil Morris Gives You the Business, meaning I'm just gonna, Yeah, I'm gonna give you the business, the good and the bad and the ugly,
We
all
love
of it.
a double
I'm gonna
entendre
give it to
here.
you. It was so good. It was like you look at a ditch digger, right, and the dude's like sweating. He's like, "Hey man, how you doing?" He's like, "Living the dream," you know. So yeah, the business. And it was about this very thing. How do you handle yourself on a set? How do you deal with when you go to a set? Like you're a young actor, you're a student of acting. You've never had a professional job. You get a job on a show, on a commercial. What do you do the first day? You don't have a clue. You know, you show up to the set, you go see the AD, you tell him your name, you check in. So it was like a seminar like that. It wasn't an acting workshop. It
It's
was
a
how to be a
primer of
professional actor.
how to conduct
What
yourself.
I wish somebody would have told me, have less ego, you know, be more of a team player, hang up your wardrobe, always be on time, know your lines, which are things that you probably should know. But as a professional, you can't get away with not knowing it, right? So I'm doing this seminar, and I tell one of my friends who's my age, I'm like, I'm doing this seminar. Oh, thank goodness. He goes, because this new business, I can't stand it. It's a self-tape this and a self-tape that, and I can't go in and I can't share my nuance with the casting people. It's always on a tape and a this and that. And I hear this, wah, 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 like Charlie Brown's teacher, wah, 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 wah. And I say, Christopher, I love you. I just love you. And I hear you, but I'm going to ask you a question. What if we started our careers today? What would we know to do? Only what we know to do today. We wouldn't think about, back in my day, I would go in at 3 o'clock for an 8 by 10, and I'd be out there by 3:30, out my hamburger job by 7. No, we wouldn't be doing that. We would just do what was required of us to do today. And my point was, shut it. If you want to be in the game, you got to play the game. If you don't want to play the game, get out of the game. But the game's always going to be bigger than you. I mean, I don't care who you are. I remember, and I'll let you guys answer questions. I'll talk forever. I remember Christian Bale saying, all of us at this level of success are just taking the jobs that Leonardo DiCaprio turned down. So no matter how high you fly, there's always somebody who is a bigger gorilla, bigger something, in the studio, and the game is always bigger than us.
Yeah. I love that. Well, something I've heard in different areas of life, but it applies here is like you said, if you started today, it would be what it is. It's like, you can, this is what it is, and you are welcome to keep going, or you can decide not to do it, but it's not going to change the nature of the game. You can change your careers, but if you agree to be here, this is how it is now.
Right. You can change your approach so it works better for it, but you got to know what it is anyway.
Yeah.
Phil, I had to stop myself the other day. I was talking to someone. They asked, how long I'd been doing podcasts, and I started going down this route of, when we started doing this, there was a lot less competition. And, you couldn't just go into the Guitar Center and buy the equipment. You had to kind of know. And I was like, oh, God, you got to stop, man. You got to stop.
You became that guy?
Yeah.
See, it's all changed.
You become a has-been,
At some point,
so it's applicable to anything, I guess. Is what,
absolutely anything. We just happen to be talking about this. We talk about cars. He's like Porsche, right? Their change is incremental. It's just just enough.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just enough. Because the market changes, the people change. They want to have more stuff that's easier to drive the thing and whatever it is, right? Yeah. But they're also going to dial in the Porsche signature.
Yeah.
So you can walk and chew gum at the same time, I guess is my point.
Yeah, those guys know what they're doing,
Yeah.
Very true. Well, so one thing that you mentioned, right before we started recording, you were talking about kind of the dichotomy of being an actor and what the nature of your job is as an actor and playing a variety of characters, but also what the industry would prefer do, which is be consistent. So can you talk a little bit more about that and how you've handled that to have the career that you've had?
Yeah, I think you have to make a choice. Are you a brand or are you an artist? I mean, some artists can be brands and that's an extension of their artistry, and then they're branded, right? And then there's people who work from, this is who I am, this is what I do, and I take this everywhere I go. And a lot of people, it's good enough. It's good enough. That's their choice. That's their process. My process has been one of, I look at the material, I look at this character. Can I love this human being? How are they? What do they want? What do they love? What do they hate? Blah, blah, blah. Now I can do this person. As I continue to do that, I am accepting them as opposed to putting myself in there. I already know myself. I know what I am. I know who I am. I got to figure out who they are. And the more I do that, like Jackie Chiles isn't me. It's a very different energy than I am. But I know a lot of preachers, and I know a lot of hustlers. I know a lot of, street corner cats. And my dad is a very strong personality, a lot of him in there. So you steal from people that you know and things that you're aware of.
Yeah.
That's my process. And I think it's worked for me. Other people, even though they may say they are fine actors, you see them portraying the same energy from role after role after role. It's not easy. It's not easy to lose yourself like a Daniel Day-Lewis or a Christian Bale or, there's a lot of actors that are amazing. Meryl Streep and, some of the younger actors are terrific.
Almost. I mean, some of them are
transformative stuff. Yeah.
almost unrecognizable.
They go there.
Right.
They go there, man.
And it's unbelievable to consume, to see. But I always, like, as I think you just alluded to this, I always am curious what that means for them on the back end in their personal life, or even just as an individual, because that's an intense commitment.
Yeah. I read that Benicio del Toro for years took lesser money to play more interesting, diverse characters in movies that didn't have the financing, but he wanted to play those characters because he needed to as an artist, And I don't use the word artist like, we're all artists. No, we're not. We're not all artists. Some of us are just representational people, and we're not transformative. And to me, art is transformative. Can you walk? Can I walk? I can walk it. Okay. It's not to break my arm off, pat myself in the back, but it took you guys a while to figure out who I was, because I'm not trying to be that person. I'm me. I try to transform the best that I can. I'm not a sociopath, so I know I'm always me, into this character that lives and breathes. When I go home, I embody or I envision that they are walking around. And when I come into work, I'm doing this show, I'm doing Fire Country right now, and I'm playing a rancher, and he's very different than me. And he has a very difficult relationship with his daughter. I have a wonderful relationship with my daughter and my kids.
Right.
So it's very difficult for me to play. It's counterintuitive. So I really have got to find him and slip into him, right? And so I feel what I do is I see that these people, when I leave and I sign out, they're still at the ranch, man. They're still trying to put out the fire. They're still dealing with their daughter. I go home, I go to the hotel, and I have a nice dinner, and I come back and have a breakfast sandwich, and then I try my best to shake Phil off and then put on this character. And to the degree that I can do that, then I'm satisfied, and I have to be the one who's satisfied. And that's taken a long time to get there, because you're trying to serve the industry, you're trying to serve your agents, you're trying to serve the producers, you're trying to serve the piece, you're trying to serve your fellow actors, you're trying to serve the director, you're trying to serve the lighting guy and the camera guy and the prop guy. I got a gun and I got a horse and I got a ring. It's taken a long time to collate all that information and allow this person to live his life. That's transformative.
Well, and I love the idea of, like, I think that's such a healthy sort of approach and tool to look at it as like, no, their timeline goes on while I go do my stuff, and then I'm just going to come back and we'll link back up. I love that.
It's really kind of spiritual to me. I love it a lot. I have good friends who watched this character the first time they saw him. They're like, I don't like you. I love you. And then they wrote about it. They were like, it's really difficult to see somebody that you love and not like them,
But I would imagine that's a high compliment, because you're like, that means I did it well.
Yes.
Because these are people that are predisposed to love you. They already have affection for you. And they're like, despite that, not a fan.
Yeah. And that's exactly, I'm not trying to do it to win you. I'm trying to do it to be truthful.
Yeah.
I love that.
I know you do a lot of voiceover work, in addition to all the on-screen stuff. I've long thought that voiceover work must be like the sweetest gig there is, because you don't have to, burden yourself with a lot of that, I suppose. Or you tell me, is it?
Yeah, you're right. You're not wrong. It is much more difficult to do the three-dimensional representation of a performance. Admittedly in voice, you're just using your voice, but you have to be so well-versed in your reference points as a human being, so that you bring the references that then we all respond to, right? You resonate based on my ground of being, and it has to be so nuanced. just because it's only a voice, and they're
Right.
rendering the physical behavior. So I have to have that nuance in my voice to the degree that you as an audience, there's no scene. You know what I mean? You just dive right into it. So some of the most talented people I've ever worked with in my career are voiceover actors. They're able to affect so many different dialects or even animals. A guy named this guy named Frank Welker. Frank Welker is known for animals. He was Dino in the Flintstones.
Yeah.
And he's played Scooby-Doo. He's amazing. The guy's insanely wealthy because he does so many different things and he's done so many different episodes and they rerun them all the time. And he gets paid like ridiculous. But he's so sweet and he's the nicest guy. He's like this little patrician-y old man, grandfather-y guy. And you'd be like, Frank? And he just starts his day and does his thing and turns his hat around and, comes in a Pendleton shirt. And it's pretty amazing how these people can just transform into these incredible characters. Corey Burton is an incredible. I mean, I'm only singling these people out because they're coming to mind. Fred Tatasciore, incredible artists. But we walk in, I'm like this. I don't have to dress like a Chinese bus driver, but I could play one.
Right.
I don't have to be from London to play a Cockney mobster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's for me, it's kid stuff. It's like that's what we did as kids, right?
Yeah.
We would do all kind of crazy voices and see things and we'd talk real weird and we'd see the cartoons and try to affect that, right? It's just an extension of that. The more you keep that alive, the better you are at your job, as far as I'm concerned, in voiceover.
When you see someone that just works in an office, right? Like, do you want to grab them and shake them and say, although, I mean, not everyone has the gift that you have, granted.
I don't think anybody just does anything, do they?
Yeah.
I think that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
We just talked about, it doesn't matter what car you drive.
Yeah.
You have a Gordon Murray special, one of one, two of two, whatever the hell.
Sure.
Your Dario Franchitti, you roll up.
Yeah.
Are you more interesting than the dude who's got the Fiat 129, who's like restored it from the ground up? No, you're not. So it's who you are, right? That person who's working in the office, maybe they're doing it because, man, they got this is the thing I got to do. So I don't ever look at it like that. I appreciate the question.
Yeah.
And I know what you're getting at. I mean, do I feel like you need to maximize your life? And I think some of us are not processing it the best that we can. Yes, I do. And I do feel that we need to get out of our comfort zone to appreciate other people, other cultures, other endeavors, other interests. And a great way to do that is what we've been talking about for the last hour. Cars are one of the places where, I mean, I'm an African-American too, this is a white female or white male. But we're all talking the same language. We all want to hear each other and be heard. And I think the more places we find that, if it's in the office and you find that camaraderie in that village there, I just think that we're missing it. Here's what I think. I think that we think it has to be something. And it just is right now. This is it, This is it.
This is it, isn't it?
That we get.
That's a great point.
I mean, so how you gonna play it?
Yeah.
You're gonna wait for the moment. So then you wait for those moments. All these moments now are going by, which could be the moments they're freaking waiting for.
That's it. Yeah.
Right. We keep going like, when XYZ, and you're like, but the moments are all the moments. It's how you.
I'd never have a Porsche.
You do with them.
I'd never have one. If it was like, it has to be the right thing, and I have to have enough money, and I got the first kid, and I have to own my first house, and
right. Well, it's like what they say about having kids, right? Like there's no perfect time to have kids. We all can relate to that.
We're never ready. I'm not ready now.
You're never ready. I know. I know.
Yeah. It's funny. I got into a Miata for the first time in years, and within the first 500 feet, I was laughing out loud. So fun. Isn't that an analogy, right? I mean, it's just, I don't know if I've ever laughed in my Porsche, right? I mean, it's a different, it's
Porsche, take note.
Kind of all I need to do.
No, it's so good. Yeah, our buddy Jay Ryan, he has, he would call it dumbed down. He's dumbed down his 997 because he wants the feel of an old air-cooled Porsche. So he wants to feel the same thrill at 35 miles an hour that I feel at, whatever, in my R8. We had this debate this week. And we're going to see him Sunday at Scott's in Malibu. So I will tell him that you guys that I do this show.
Very nice.
Please do.
But we talked about, he does that to feel exactly what you're talking about, Ryan, and the Miata. in his Porsche and he's detuning it so that it's not so user friendly and it's more ergonomic and it's more seat of the pants. And what brings the smile to your face is really what you need to go for. I mean, that brings a smile to his face. And I told him, look, man, I get a smile on my face at 55, 6,000, 7,000 RPMs in my 911.
Yeah.
That's just crazy fun. And I had a blast coming off the on-ramp from the Marina Freeway onto the 405.
Yeah.
I'm not going that fast.
Yeah.
But I'm just feeling, I'm hearing this V10 in my R8 going bomb, bomb, bomb. That's all I need.
That's a great
all
sound.
I need.
Well, I'm good.
That is a great,
Yeah.
great sounds. Yeah.
Well,
Driving 55.
because it's the experience, right? It's like we've all had the experience of I'm going to turn the radio off so I can just experience my car. And that's one of those moments where you're like, yes, like this is, that's the actualization. You're
Therapy.
like, everything lines up.
Yeah.
It is.
Therapy.
Yeah.
It really is. One of the things that we, just for fun, we like to ask our guests, because Hagerty does something called the bull market list, where they talk about cars that are about to start appreciating in value. So here at That Car Show, we have something called the BS market list. So we would love to hear your 2 or 3 suggestions for the BS market list. And it can be the same criteria as the Hagerty list if you like, cars that you think are underappreciated, or it can be whatever criteria you like that you feel fits the title of the BS market list.
Oh, that's so wild.
And there goes that sponsorship. But, you know,
exactly.
We love you, Hagerty.
Yeah. Hagerty.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I don't know the Hagerty list well, but
that's okay. We are creating our own.
What do I
list.
think is the BS list?
Yeah, cars you think will go up this year, cars you think we should all be buying. You know, like I've said, we should all be buying, you know, all the clean first-gen Boxsters we can find, right? Because they don't make cars like that anymore, right? And they can be found for relative, you know, pennies, right? So that I guess that's kind of the thought here. Like, what are we missing the boat on?
Well, I'm an R8 guy, so I think people need to get the first-gen R8, gated shift V8. They keep saying they're going to stop the R8, and then they start it again. So I think the R8 could be on both lists.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a great answer.
They keep cutting the production, so then everybody like me thinks my car is going to go up because it's going to stop. And then they go, oh no, but we're going to make a hybrid R8, or they're going to one more year for the twin turbo, 660 horsepower.
Right. Well, we had that experience with the GT4. What did we have, like 24 hours where they were like, no more GT4s, and we all went, we're so set. And then they were like,
for the EV, Phil.
And then they're like, hybrid. I'm like, whatever they said, they canceled, they retracted their, you guys have the only ones that we're making. So
and now they're retrofitting the gas engines, but
no, see, because they know that. Well, I don't know what they know, but what I feel is that the EV is not ready yet. We're not ready yet. We don't even know the knock-on effect of it. You know, we don't know the knock-on effect of storage, battery storage. We just don't. You know, we didn't know the knock-on effect of leaded gasoline for a generation. You know what I mean? So we have to, you know, slow your roll. I mean, all of a sudden, you know, it's just the placebo effect. And so everybody's switching to EVs. Audi's going to turn around. You know, Porsche's like, wait a minute, not sure. So I think we got to wait on that stuff. I think cars like the RSGT, the Audi, which I like a lot, but I think they're going to go down like the Taycan, unfortunately. I don't think people are going to, you know, they're going to turn around on it. I'm going to tell you right now, Audi's going to wish they made that gas version of that. The same way Porsche wishes they made a gas version of the Taycan. Because I'd buy one if there was a gas version of the Taycan.
Do you think it's going to be like a bit of a valley and they will eventually recover? So they might be on
they always do.
Future BS list.
But... They always do. And they'll come out with some technology that'll like make it easier for us or more palatable, or hopefully it won't be just a marketing ploy and it really will be technology that moves us forward. I just don't think the EV is moving us forward like they want it to, in my opinion. Hybrid, what else?
What's your perfect automotive day? You get up, it's a Saturday morning, weather's beautiful. You live near the ocean, if I recall. So, you know, where do you head from there? Do you go up the coast?
Well, now it's kind of sad because the coast is tough. You know, going up the coast is a tough drive. I've lived here my whole life, basically. And most of my friends who did well, they moved to the Palisades or they moved to Malibu.
Oh.
So a lot of my friends were showing pictures of their houses gone in front of properties are no longer.
Right.
So it's a little difficult on my spirit going up the coast sometimes. Now it's getting easier and easier, but it's still a bit of a slog because you can't really drive it. They want you to go 25, so it's not as palatable. When you get north of like Pepperdine University, then it opens up and it's amazing. I mean, the coast of
and it's
California,
the same.
The coast is so insane.
That section of it is not changed.
That's all the same. It hasn't been affected.
Yeah.
No, it's
And you're right.
Areas to the south.
The shock of it is not as much as it was initially, but it's still just sort of heart-stopping because it's such a change.
But what's going to happen with all that?
It's going to be incredible. The development's going to be weird. It's never going to be the same. There are houses you cannot rebuild the way they were built. You know, developers will come in and they'll kind of cookie cutter a lot of stuff because it'll be easier to build that way cheaper. Insurance companies will go for that. So that's what will happen. It won't be as quaint as it was. Malibu was quaint, believe it or not. Palisades even more quaint, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But my favorite car day is honestly going up to Newcomb's. It's going up Angeles Crest Highway. Jay and I say it all the time. We kind of almost don't need to go to the track anymore. Not because we're not racing. We drive spiritedly. We do not race. I do not race. You know, if there's somebody comes up behind me, I have Johnny Lieberman's law, which is pull over.
Yep.
Doesn't matter how fast you are. You weren't going fast enough. Just pull over. Don't now start going faster because they're up on you and you woke up or whatever. Just pull over, you know, and don't hammer them if they're not getting out of the way. That's not your business. So I have a really nuanced etiquette about the mountain and I love it. And I can drive it just for flow. I can drive it just to work on my left foot braking. I can drive it for a lot of different disciplines that I can't get anywhere else in the city. Just can't.
It's an objectively great road. Like it's got a little bit of every. I mean, you know better than I. But, you know, it's just a great road.
And 9 Mile, if you try. If you go up Upper Tonga and you go up 9 Mile, that you really want to drive a road that's like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's one of that and 198, Highway 198, two of my favorite roads in the world.
Well, and I think one of the things that is hard to put into words when people maybe aren't from Southern California or haven't had the chance to come and visit and go up there to truly understand you're not that far, like time and distance, you're not that far from downtown LA or other areas of LA, but you are so far, you know, environmental. I mean, you're up in the mountains. And that was one of the things that struck me the first time I went up, where it's like, you know, if you squint really hard on a couple places, you can find downtown on the way up, but you get up there and it really is like birds singing. It's quiet. You can smell the pine. It's mountain air. And then you can drop right back down into the city. And I think that's one of the things that's been such a draw for so many people because it is such a reset and it's an amazing road getting there.
No, all of that is true. It's so accessible. And there really is, you know, respect the crest is very important for all of us. And, you know, no matter who we are, no matter what your skill level, no matter what you drive, anything can happen at any time. You just have to have your head on a swivel and eyes wide open. And when you do that, then you'll have a great time. And did I show you the video of the rattlesnake?
Yes.
So talk about wildlife. Yeah. So, you know, it's nature up there. No bathrooms up there. So just stay on your open-ended bathroom. You know, the bathroom's open-ended. The VIP room's always open. So I'm using the VIP bathroom and I hear this sound and I look over and it looks like a squirrel like is looking at me and I look over. No, it's not a squirrel. It's a rattlesnake. And it's 10 feet from me. And, you know, I kind of handle it. And I take out my phone and I film it. And this rattlesnake is 10 feet long, huge. And as it passes my camera, you see the rattle just out of frame. And that was like, that's Newcomb's, man. You're going to see deer are going to run across the road at any time. So be careful. You know, you can go up there. It can be snowy up there. It's nature.
It is.
Phil, I love that your first thought was to take out your phone and
I couldn't believe it. I was like, I knew I was safe because it had turned around. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta.
Yeah. That's intense. I'd want to share, you know.
I posted it immediately. I was like, look what happened up there.
You're like, listen, this is what I do for you guys for the gram. Like, I will put my life at risk to capture the rattlesnake. Yes.
You're welcome.
We appreciate the effort.
And cell phone doesn't work up there. Can't call anybody.
Right.
I think
Yep.
that adds to it. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, and there's been so many stories where something has happened farther down the mountain. I think there was one where the road was shut down and a handful of people had come up and they couldn't figure out why nobody else was arriving. They were like, gosh,
Coming
it's a
up.
really light morning, until they tried to get down the mountain and realized people had tried but couldn't because, like you said,
Yeah.
stuff happens.
Stuff happens. Yeah. Just be ready.
It's crazy. Well, we have loved having you on. We will not keep you longer tonight, but we'd love to have you come back. But can
I would
you
love. This is great.
We'd love to have you back.
what do you have coming up where people can see you in action?
I am on The Upshaws, which is on Netflix with Wanda Sykes, Mike Epps, and
Right on.
Kim Fields.
Okay.
So that's running right now. We finished that last season, but they hadn't run it yet, so it's a brand new season. And then I'm also doing Fire Country for CBS, which is great. So I get comedy and the drama, which is wonderful. I'm doing a couple NDA things that we'll talk about at a later date, but they're very cool. Oh my gosh, I love them. I do another show which is not NDA called Phineas and Ferb, which is a cartoon that's been on forever. And I do what's called a wheel of voices, so I'll play any of a number of fun, crazy voices on there, and I just love those creators. Everything I do is just fun. I just go and try to have the most fun I can, and it seems to be working out.
Well, we all want to grow up and be
I think you got it figured out. Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. So tell us
Thanks, you
where
guys.
people can find you on social media, in addition to obviously your
At
work.
the Phil Morris, everywhere. Facebook, Meta, X, Instagram, all that. I'm at the Phil Morris. So check me out. I'm at conventions. I've been doing a lot of conventions. I was just in Washington State last weekend, Rewind Washington. I like to talk to the fans and meet them. A lot of what I do is over the air, so I don't get a chance to really hear or feel the resonance of the performances. So conventions are a good way to do that and to meet the people who literally pay my salary because they turn on the TV or go to the movies or buy the video games or buy the audiobooks. And that's lovely. I love it. I love it. I'm worn out every day because I don't sit down. I talk to whoever comes over. I go walk around to see my friends and hang out with, other artists or celebrities or sports people. So that's pretty prominent right now on my journey is the convention circuit.
I love that. Well, I think that illustrates kind of what it's like to be friends with you, as you are so enthusiastic and you give everything and then, you're worn out at the end of the day.
Yeah. Go to sleep.
Yeah.
Good tired.
Yeah. Good time.
Guys, I appreciate you so much. Appreciate
Thanks so much, Phil.
This has been really fun. And, thank you to everyone for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed the conversation with Phil. Obviously, he's got some amazing stories and you can come back and share more. And we'd love to hear about the new projects as soon as you can talk about them.
For sure.
In the meantime, thank you everybody for joining us. Please remember to like and subscribe and tell your enthusiast friends. And until next week, we're That Car Show. And remember, always be driving.